Good Tuesday morning, everyone. It is Tuesday, isn't it Tuesday? The 20th of December. I am back in Colorado, at least for another week, and I'm happy to be with you. Just trying to get my phone fixed here. Hello, Monica Corrado here, the GAPS Chef. Teaching chef, certified nutritionist. What else? Holistic nutritionist. Hello. My website is simplybeingwell.com. Simplybeingwell.com. I want to welcome all of you to this Facebook Live. I want to welcome all the new people to our page, our group, I guess. Welcome. My intention and desire in doing these Facebook Lives is to reach as many people as I can, to talk about the GAPS diet, to answer your questions about the GAPS diet, and to accurately represent Dr. Natasha Campbell-McBride's work. Gut and Psychology Syndrome, yellow book. Gut and Physiology Syndrome, blue book. All right, so welcome. I am not a medical doctor. I do not make comments about medical tests, etc. I do help, or my intention is to help you cook for the diet so that you can do it well and so that it's easy for you to do, and you can have that healing. Can't really say that word. You can provide your body with the nutrition that it can use to get you back to balance. All right, another quick thing. I just want to let everyone know that I let you know last week. It's going to be backwards, but that's okay. Second edition, me, Monica Corrado, the GAPS Chef. This is my second edition of my book. It just actually is available to buy today. I put it on our page. It does have a wonderful spiral binding. It has a beautiful hardcover. It has incredible index in the back where you can look things up like whey and fermenting nuts and seeds and beet kvass and meat stock and all of the charts and the tables and everything else that are in there that try to help you cook for this easily. And there's a lot of additional information. We do Fahrenheit to Celsius conversions, etc., etc. So I love this book. I'm proud of this book. It was supposed to be out a couple months ago, but due to all sorts of issues, we just got it out. And so, I hope you celebrate with me. And I hope it serves you well, because that's the point, right? That's the point of writing any book for anyone. All right, so here we are today. Just want to say hello to everyone. Hello, Dill. Hello, Gilda. I think you're new to this particular forum. Hello, Edil. Hello, Andy. Hello, Cecilia. Fatima. Rebecca. Caroline is here. Yahoo. Okay, Karen. Hello, Karen. Okay. Hey, Faria is here. Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Faduma. I'm glad you got yours. Okay, so today, just so everyone knows, I will get to your questions. The last 2 weeks have been a little wacko because I was, maybe 3 weeks, I don't even know, because I was in Florida. My dad had been in the ICU for 3 weeks or 2.5, and now he's in a rehab facility, and I will be flying back again next week. In any case, that's another story for another time. So those two, I did not start with something. Today, I'd like to start by teaching just a little bit, 10 minutes, whatever it takes, to talk a little bit, about full GAPS. I love to see your questions on the page. I really appreciate the people who tag me in those posts so I can actually see them. I was not able to actually invite people to this Facebook Live because Facebook won't let me do that. What's that about? I don't know. Maybe we'll need to change forums at some point. In any case, so today I thought we'd talk about the full GAPS diet. I want to talk about full GAPS because it's a wonderful part of the diet. You all know that there is the intro diet, 6 stages. You know that there is a fabulous and free download for you, or I hope you do. That is an intro diet chart I made available. It's under featured posts. Go grab one and download it and print it out and put it on your refrigerator, etc. So there's intro with 6 stages. There is the full GAPS diet, and there is the transition diet, okay, in general. We also have no plant, more plant, liquid GAPS, liquid fast. We have keto GAPS. I mean, we have lots of other things, but the original GAPS has 3 phases, if you will. Intro with 6 stages, full, and transition. All right, so originally the full GAPS diet was something that you graduated to, meaning you would start at intro, and then you would do stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, stage 5, stage 6, and then graduate to full GAPS. That's how it was for many years. And then after a lot of, several years of practice, Dr. Natasha had with patients, and her certified GAPS practitioners had with their patients and clients, it was changed to you can start at full GAPS, not at intro, if you needed to. And what is that? So who would start on full GAPS? People that travel a lot and therefore cannot be home to make a lot of meat stock or to do the intro well and easily. So people who travel a lot, people who are prone to constipation should not start on intro diet. They should start on the full GAPS diet. Okay, you know your body, you know your child's body. Start on full if you're prone to constipation. That's the second one. The third one, why should people start on full GAPS? Maybe because they don't know how to do the cooking yet. Perhaps they don't know how to make meat stock, which most people don't. Perhaps they don't know how to make sauerkraut or beet kvass or vegetable medley or any of those things. Perhaps they've never made yogurt in their lives. Okay, cool. Start on full GAPS diet. Okay, so traveling, right? People prone to constipation. All right, that's very important, everyone. You don't have to start on intro anymore. You could start on full GAPS. And then later on, go and do intro diet later on. Maybe at a time where you have maybe 6 months in, maybe 3 months in, maybe when you have a long vacation where you could deal with a lot of die-off if you have that, etc. Right? And then the third one is people who are just coming to these cooking techniques. They need to learn to sort. They need to clean out their pantry and get rid of all that CRAP of processed foods, all the grains, all the processed foods, all the things that are not on GAPS. They need to source their food. They need to learn how to do all the cooking techniques. Those are people that it would serve to start on the full GAPS diet. Now, hope that's helpful. Now, what are the challenges of the full GAPS diet? No, let's start in a different place. Let's see. Let's say this. Can healing happen on full GAPS? Yes. A lot of healing can happen on full GAPS. Tremendous healing can happen just when people cut out all the garbage from their diet, all the processed foods, all the prepared foods from the Whole Foods hot bar, all the times they go out to dinner and all of that really horrible food that they're eating. Sometimes people just get better. They feel better when they start eating real food. There is definitely healing that happens on full GAPS, and that will depend on where you started, when you started full. And so what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is if you started from the standard American diet, which is lots of processed foods, lots of sugar, lots of genetically modified foods, lots of pesticides, lots of glyphosate, lots of carbohydrates, lots of grains, lots of grains, lots of grains. Did I say grains? So if you're starting from what's called the standard American diet, and you start on the full GAPS diet, you will have tremendous healing. Because why? You're taking out all the bad foods, and you've added in healing foods. You've added in meat stock. You've added in fermented foods. You've added in real fat like butter and ghee and tallow and duck fat and chicken fat and bacon fat and lard, right? You've added in those things. You've added in cultured dairy, right? So people that have been on the standard American diet may very well have a tremendous healing going on to full GAPS and staying there for a while. People that come to full GAPS from the Weston A. Price diet, not so much. Why? Because Weston A. Price, if you don't know the Weston A. Price Foundation, please look them up. Weston, W-E-S-T-O-N-A, Price, Price.org. You can find real food resources all over the globe, not everywhere, but lots of places internationally and in the U.S. by looking up local chapters, all right? So the Weston A. Price diet, based on the work of Dr. Weston A. Price, he was a dentist in the 30s, and we traveled all over the world in the 30s and the 40s, and he wrote a phenomenal book, which everyone on this call, on this little live, should read, called Nutrition and Physical Degeneration. Read it. In any case, if you come to full GAPS from Weston A. Price and you know who you are out there in Facebook Live land, my deduction is that you won't have a huge amount of healing on the full GAPS diet because it's not that different from Weston Price, with the exception of not having any grains, which Weston Price has, and having only certain beans and legumes, which Weston Price allows all of them, etc., etc. All right. So I want to talk about the challenges of the full GAPS diet. To me, as a practitioner, this is the word according to Monica. So this may or may not be something that Dr. Natasha would agree with, but in my work, although there's one piece that she would definitely agree with, in my work with clients who I see, and I have seen for years now, there are several downfalls or several challenges. We'll spin it nicely. Several challenges when you're on the full GAPS diet. Number one, not enough meat stock. Many people, when they get to full GAPS, or they, if they start on full GAPS, or even if they graduate to full GAPS, all of a sudden meat stock is off the table. Ha! There was a pun. Hope you're all laughing. Meat stock is no longer in the pot and no longer on the table, and that is a problem. So stay with meat stock in the full GAPS diet. If you start on full GAPS, have meat stock for several months and lots of it. If you graduate to full GAPS, it is 2 cups of meat stock a day. You stay there. That's in the books. Okay? So challenge number 1, people drop off their meat stock, and that's a problem. Or they just don't have enough on full GAPS. So keep up the meat stock, folks. That's a very important thing for you to do. All right. What else? The other challenge with the full GAPS diet is, in my estimation, is too much fruit. Everybody says, well, it's on full GAPS, I can eat it. Well, yeah, but guess what? Fruit is sugar, and sugar feeds yeast and pathogens. So I personally, again, when I work with people, I really suggest that they curtail the amount of fruit that they're eating on full GAPS. And if you're going to eat fruit, that you eat that you eat only low sugar fruits like dark berries and apples and pears, things like that. So fruit, definitely another challenge, pitfall of, I've got a nice little light here from the window. Let's put it, see if we can move it around a little bit. Oh, will give me a halo? No, sorry. Fruit. So not enough meat stock, number 1. 2, too much sugar. Cut the fruit out. Number 3, too many nuts. And I know Dr. Natasha would agree with that one. Nuts and seeds are meant to be treats on the full GAPS diet. Even on intro, they're meant to be treats. They are not meant to be eaten every single day, and they can feed yeast. So, watch the nuts and seeds. Watch that you have enough meat stock. Watch that you're not having too much sugar, and watch that you are not having too many nuts and seeds. In the U.S., I know that people want to have, we're crazy, man. We've got such a bad diet. So, people want their muffin, and they want, I'm not liking this light. I'm going to move this way. That's better. All right. People want their muffins. People want their bread. People want their cake. People want their, really, in the U.S., we are such bad eaters. We are. I know. I'm being judgmental. I apologize. But it's just based on what I've been watching for 10, 20, 30 years. 50 years? No, I guess I didn't really, not that old, but I am old. I didn't become aware of the carbaholics that we have in this nation until I was probably maybe 25. So about 25, 26 years ago. All right. So I know that many people get to full GAPS. They either start there or they end up there after being on intro, and they start baking like crazy people. And they're having muffins every day, and they're having cupcakes every day, and they're having cake every day, and they're making bread every day. And you know what? Bad news bears. That's not what we're supposed to be doing with those nuts and seeds. Okay, think of it as a treat. I know it's hard to think of it right now. We're in the holidays. We're in Hanukkah. We are going into Christmas. We've got all sorts of beautiful holidays of light coming up, and usually there's food. And so you probably don't want me to hear me saying that right now, but you don't want to be having baked goods from nut and seed flour every single day. Those are the 3 difficulties that I see in the full GAPS diet. And I guess the 4th one would be not enough fermented foods, fermented vegetables and cultured dairy. Yeah, so keep those things up, folks. Keep those things up if you're going to be on full GAPS, okay? All right, that's my spiel for today about the challenges of the full GAPS diet as I see them, and also, why would you start on full GAPS? Okay? All righty, let's go here and see how people are doing. I hope that was helpful. Okay, we've got Fatima. Okay. Just saw your post about the new edition of your book. So super excited. Yes, this is for certified GAPS practitioners and for certified GAPS coaches. This is a required text for the training. So yes, it'll be great if there's any coaches on or practitioners on that want to get bulk orders of these, let me know. Jump to my website and hit the contact form, and let's get the show on the road. But yes, absolutely. All right. Karen, I'm going to say hello to everybody and then come back. Andy, don't worry. I think you can upgrade the other one to this one for a very small fee. Wouldn't that be fun? All right. Hello, Cecilia. Okay, who else has questions? Deco. Okay, Esther. Hello, hello. Kaini is here. Kaini. Marie. All right, let's see. Sandy. Hello, Sandy. Hello, Uma. Hello, Marie. Hello, Fritzy. I hope I said that right. Fritzy, Fritzia. Uma's here. Colleen is here. Hello, Brea Lynn. Hello, Victorious. Valerie. Hello, Lena. Okay, Victorious Valerie, send me the recipe for the Hanukkah donuts and let me see if I can work it. Send it to me through my website. You could just send it to monica@simplybeingwell.com and let's see if we can work it. That would be so much fun. Hi. All right, so I have some questions. We'll get started. All right, interested in GAPS version of kombucha, trying to get started. Karen asks, so kombucha is interesting. Kombucha was not originally part of the GAPS diet, and although Dr. Natasha talks about kombucha in the Blue Book as being very, very helpful for anyone with yeast issues, I'm not sure she actually has a recipe in there. However, do I? Let us look in the new book. It's not in my old book, but if I turn to the back index, right? Let's see what we've got. That would be fabulous. Index, is there kombucha in here? I just broke this open from the box. Kombucha on page 159. Let's see. Again, this is the new book, my new book. Yep. Okay, so kombucha. So Dr. Natasha does say that kombucha is usable. You can use it on the GAPS diet. The original kombucha recipe is black sugar. I am tired, folks. I'm sorry. Black tea, organic black tea, plus white sugar, refined sugar. And you need to ferment that very long so that all the sugar is pre-digested by the symbiotic colony of bacteria and yeast. Now, you can make kombucha. Dr. Natasha talks about making kombucha with a slurry of fruit as the sugar. Now, that would also be, it would be a type of kombucha, but not the traditional kombucha. So a slurry means that you take fresh berries, best if you grew them yourself, of course. You take fresh berries and you rinse them and you cook them down with a little bit of water, and then you take the seeds out and then you cool through a strainer, then you cool it off, and then you use that in place of the sugar. We don't know how strong that ferment will be. I don't know. All I know is that kombucha, the traditional kombucha recipe, which is black tea and white sugar, has been tested for the amounts of glucuronic acid in it. Glucuronic, Glucuronic, glucuronic acid in it, and that's the thing that helps the liver detox. So while you would be making a fabulous ferment with this slurry, we wouldn't know whether or not it was actually as strong as traditional kombucha. So that's my answer there. The longer you ferment, folks, as you know, or I hope you know by now, time and temperature have a lot to do with how well those little microbes grow. So the longer you ferment the kombucha, the lower it will be in sugar. And what you're going for is the taste of not sweet at all, but not vinegar either. So it takes a little while, right, to figure out in your home, at the temperature of your house, with the strength of a SCOBY that you have, symbiotic colony of bacteria and yeast, SCOBY, how to get to that sweet spot. Sorry, I thought that was cute. All right. Gilda says, can I freeze ferments into ice cream to get my child to eat them? Yogurt, kefir, probiotics, etc. I think freezing kills the good bacteria. My kid won't eat ferments. Okay, so there's a couple things going on there, Gilda. Number one, some children are protecting themselves from die-off and from histamine response. And that is why they will not eat fermented vegetables such as sauerkraut that has been short fermented. Long fermented will be low in histamine. Long meaning 6 months, a year, or longer. should be low in histamine, a lot lower than just a 2-week ferment or a 5-day ferment or something like that. So I would be mindful of what's going on with your child because they know what their bodies can and cannot tolerate. So I just give that to all of you. In terms of ferments, if your children do not want to eat their ferments, they don't want sauerkraut juice, they do not want sauerkraut, they do not want vegetable medley, etc., it may be that they're going to have too strong of a response to it. Okay, so I give you that. In which case, what do? You back off, you wait a while to introduce them, you cut it with water, you introduce a very small amount, like a drop, that kind of thing. Those should be helpful tools. The other thing is, can you freeze ferments into ice cream? Yes, you can absolutely freeze ferments into ice cream. You will lose some of the bacteria doing that because some will die when they're frozen. Even if they're dead, they will be helpful for your child. Dr. Natasha has said that even dead bacteria is good for you. I'm trying to think of what else. The other thing that I have an issue with, again, the word according to Monica, maybe not everyone else, is we need to think about the temperature at which the digestive system runs. It runs at about 98.6 Fahrenheit. Sorry, I don't have the Celsius written down here, but you know what normal temperature is, body temperature. And when you put a frozen anything into your mouth and into your digestive system, you do what I call stopping the digestion cold. That's what we've done. You've put ice into a 98.6 degree stomach. So now the body has to compensate and bring that food up to temperature, which could take a while. So I'm just letting people know that ice, certainly the ice cubes are not, we don't drink cold drinks on GAPS. No ice. And so think about whether or not you want to freeze anything for your child. If you're going to do that, you want to do it outside of a meal time. So 20 minutes before a meal, 2 hours after a meal, or an hour after a meal, just so that digestion can happen with everything else that's in the system. I hope that's helpful. Thank you, Andy. He is getting better, but it's slow motion here. All right. Also, pregnant and breastfeeding women should start with full GAPS, right? Dill, yes. Very good. Absolutely. Thank you. So that would be the other person that should start on full. Again, if you can work with a certified GAPS practitioner, who are all listed, or not all, but mostly they're listed on gaps.me, which is Dr. Natasha's website. They can help nuance, like where you should start and what types of GAPS foods your body would be best to work with. But yes, that is correct. Pregnant and breastfeeding women would be on full GAPS, although again, because of the breastfeeding component, because of the pregnancy component, we would suggest you start very slowly with introducing anything that would cause die-off, because die-off and toxins would go straight into the breast milk and straight into the baby in the uterus. So slow and steady, bringing in cultured dairy if you're not used to it, and bringing in fermented vegetables and tonics when you're pregnant and breastfeeding. The very important things to think about. Hello, Uma. Let's see, what else have we got here? Okay, so Brea Lynn says, so how do you work blood sugar stabilization while giving people, yeah, ghee, butter, coconut oil mixed with honey? Would you still worry about it feeding yeast? No. Okay, so folks, anyone who's new, so I call that the blood sugar stabilizer. Dr. Natasha doesn't really have a name for it, but she just says the butter honey mixture or the coconut oil honey mixture. That is a blood sugar stabilizer. Use it if you need it. When you come from having a lot of carbohydrates in your diet, your body's used to, your microbes are used to eating lots of sugar. So you're taking out the carbs, meaning the bread and the pizza and the buns and the rolls and the pasta and the rice and the, right? You're taking all that out. And so you're starving off the microbes, but you're also playing with your blood sugar. So yes, definitely feel free to use the blood sugar stabilizer. Make sure that you make it to your own taste, which means that it should be just sweet enough for you. We don't put a ton of honey in it because it's really about the fat helping to modulate the sugar, and the honey just giving you a little bit of sugar to help stabilize that blood sugar. Hope that's helpful. Lena is here. Oh, 4-ingredient grain-free almond baked donuts recipe. Okay, so maybe you already have it. I'll go look at that. We made these for Hanukkah last year and they're really good. Excellent. Hello, Hamda. So I shouldn't let my child have nut bread every day. I wouldn't. Again, word according to Monica, but with very good counsel from Dr. Natasha herself. Yeah. Balance, grasshopper. Balance. What do we want people eating? Animal fat, right? We want them eating animal fat. We want them eating animal protein. We want them eating meat stock, the stock. We want them eating vegetables with lots of fat on them. We want them having ferments. We want them having cultured dairy. And once in a while, they can have nut or seed baked good. Do you think, oh my goodness, Faria asks, do you think kids with hypermobility could benefit from the GAPS diet? Yes. Hypermobility is a collagen disorder, folks. If you're talking about hypermobility in their joints, right? All joint issues are collagen disorders. A lot of it has to do with too much glyphosate in the diet because glyphosate takes the place of glycine in your collagen, and then you're just in trouble. So yes, why you're in trouble? Because your joints are no longer stable, right? Really important stuff, folks. So meat stock, nibbly bits, cartilage, skin, all that stuff. Very, very important. Yes. Hello, Jenny. Hello, Nazrin. Okay, let's see. We're going to answer this for Dill Aura. Let's see, Dill. What can I do with leftover GAPS shaker juices? I have to take only a teaspoon a day. Can I store the leftover in the fridge or freezer and use the next day? I'm specifically talking about the GAPS shake from the Blue Book. Yes. Yes. So a lot of people say do not, a lot of practitioners even say that you should only juice and drink. If you put your juice in the freezer, you will stop oxidation. So I would freeze. Maybe you can juice and then freeze in little ice cubes and then use the defrost. That's the way I would do it. The reason I try to make things easy for people. So I personally know it's a pain to make a bunch of juice and then only be able to have 1 teaspoon and then throw the rest out. That is not, it's just not a good thing to do. It's expensive. It's frustrating. So I would freeze it. I would freeze it in small portions and then use it that way. As long as it's just the juices, right? And then I would make a teaspoon a day, huh? So yeah, I would freeze it. Good job doing the one from the Blue Book. That is the official one. Okay. 1 slice of nut bread. Up to you. Again, really depends on the person, the child, where they're at in GAPS, what their digestion is like, whether or not they have yeast issues, etc., right? That's where you have to start kind of feeling out. Should my child have this much, or would they be better off with less? And if they are having 1 slice, I hope it's covered with butter, right? Okay, Cecilia says, My son, oh goodness, that's a huge group. Okie dokie smokies. Fatima. Oh, Marie puts cornbread in it. So then you're just not on GAPS. That's okay. Colleen asks about baked goods with coconut flour. So as you all know, coconut flour from the store is not GAPS compliant. It needs to be coconut flour you make yourself. Then it's okay. Once in a while. I have all of that in my book about what about coconut, when coconut oil, when coconut cream, when coconut, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. Okay. What advice would you give when doing GAPS diet? Do you need a coach or can you do it yourself? So here's the deal, folks. You know, I'm a certified GAPS practitioner and a teacher for Dr. Natasha. I teach the coaches and practitioners the cooking side of the diet, which is the diet. I have heard from many, many people that getting a coach or getting a practitioner was the thing that turned everything around. So just to be clear, coaches, their scope of practice is to help with the diet, the cooking, the teaching of the cooking, sourcing. They can talk with you about enemas. They can do all those types of things. Certified GAPS practitioners already have another practice, if you will. Some of them are nutritionists. Some of those are naturopathic doctors. Some of them are acupuncturists. Some of them are nurse practitioners. They're all sorts of things. So I would just go look, and sometimes what I find people working with me, sometimes 1 or 2 appointments really sets them on the right path. Doesn't have to be forever, but sometimes you need that specific, like, what's really going on here for you? And then the practitioner can help, or coach can help tweak what's happening. All right. I've been tested and it appears that I am lactose intolerant. That is genetic. Great. Can I heal from that using full GAPS diet, or because it's genetic, diet won't help? Here's the deal, folks. It doesn't really matter because the GAPS diet does not have any lactose in it. Number 1. Just everybody be clear. GAPS does not have lactose in it. Why? Because you're culturing long, so all of the lactose is pre-digested by the microbes. Get that word out there, folks. We have people saying, I can't do GAPS because I'm dairy intolerant. And we say, come on down. GAPS will help. Okay? And then will it heal? We've seen 1 million things heal on 1 million. All right, 100,000. Couple thousand? We've seen so many things heal that Western medicine said was not able to be healed. So possible. I would do it with full heart. And then I would see what happens. And do it for 2, 3, 4, 8 years. 8, did I say 8? Long time. And then see how you do. Is Kerrygold butter okay from the grocery store? It's not organic grass-fed. Thank you. I like your snowflake. It's going to be very cold here in Colorado soon. Yikes. Okay, so here's the deal with Kerrygold, folks. Let me start in another place. We have to remember that all over the world, certainly in Ireland, in New Zealand, in many, many countries all over the world, in Switzerland, sorry, I'm thinking about cows, they treat their cows very differently than they do in the U.S. So I often will suggest to my clients that they look for European butter or butter from New Zealand. It does not have to be organic because they are not doing things to their cows like putting them in feedlots like Americans are. So, yeah. Kerrygold is what they call Irish butter. It is grass-fed, at least they say that it is. You might want to check the label because a client of mine let me know that Kerrygold is starting to put things that are weird things into the butter. So always check your label. If it's European butter, it does not have to say it's organic. It is preferred that it be grass-fed for sure. Okay? I hope that's helpful. Carrie Gold just got in trouble for lying. Yeah, I thought so, Andy. Yep. Not completely grass-fed. Yep. Okay. All right, I'm going to take some more quick ones. La, 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 la. Looking for quick, easy ones so I can get to the long ones. All right. I'm going up. Caroline asks, hello, Caroline. Should we start the day with juice every single day on full GAPS after introducing on stage 4 for the entire 2 years? No, you don't have to do that. No. Remember that juice itself, I'm not talking about a GAPS milkshake. GAPS milkshakes, specifically the one in the Blue Book, are meant to help with constipation, liver congestion, and getting more bile flowing, right? Fat tolerance. All right? That's a GAPS milkshake. Juice is actually a detox. One of the things we can use to detoxify. So use it as you want to, as you need to, in full GAPS. It's a wonderful way to get a lot of minerals very easily and swiftly. And yeah. All right. Hope that's helpful. All right, let's see. La 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 la. I'm going up, I'm going down. I'm reading your questions. All right, quick question from... Hello, Carol. Sorry, I didn't see Carol before. All right, I don't think I did anyway. All right, so what advice would a GAPS coach recommend only working with a practitioner if the child has 10 anaphylactic types of So, Fatima, I would work with a GAPS practitioner if you want to clear allergies. Working the diet very strongly and very consistently can help your child clear, get rid of anaphylactic allergies. Dr. Natasha does not say anywhere, though, to just be clear again, do not try to introduce anaphylactic foods that give your child an anaphylactic reaction on the diet. Do not try to do that. What you want to do is work the diet strongly, and then after a couple of years of healing, go ahead and test for an allergy at an allergist's office, right, with everything that's needed. Anyway, hope that's helpful. All right, Sandy King. Hi, Sandy. She says, could you please talk about the difference between Epsom salt baths and sea salts in a bath? Yes. One thing just for everyone. Pardon, I'm going to have some water. All right. I did a talk on baths, Sandy and everyone else. That is on my YouTube channel, Monica Corrado, under Ask the GAPS Chef videos. It says the 5 types of detox baths. So if you really want to know a lot of details on the 5 types of detox baths, when to use them, how to use them, why, when, why, how, it's all in there. I did a Facebook Live on that. Quickly, though, the difference is Epsom salts are magnesium, and sea salt has a lot of other minerals in it, right? I mean, Epsom salt is one thing, magnesium sulfate. That's it. That's going to be great for relaxation, detoxification, right, etc. However, a mineral salt bath is going to be full of minerals. And that's going to be, to me, that's more of a, remember, your body's a sponge. So you're going to suck in the minerals that you need from a sea salt bath. I hope that's helpful. All right. Fatima asks, let me write the question. Should a GAPS coach advise a parent whose child has 10 anaphylactic type allergies to work only with a practitioner instead of a GAPS coach if the parent does not understand the philosophy of GAPS? Yes. Yes. And remember, many coaches and practitioners are working together. That's what we hope. All right. Is raw milk okay sometimes? Only after you've completely healed and sealed your gut and you've introduced all of the dairy through the dairy introduction protocol. Then after 2 years on the diet, after symptom-free, you can go ahead and try some raw milk once in a while. Remember, raw milk equals sugar, right? All right, let me get to this big question. I hope these are helpful. La, 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 la. I'm going to the big one up here. Back to Cecilia. Cecilia. Okay, my son is 3.5, has autism, is nonverbal, has celiac disease, candida, E. coli, many toxins, has problems sleeping, sometimes constipated. Should I start with intro diet or full? He also uses supplements like grapefruit seed extract, capsules with black cumin, a natural treatment for candida and E. coli. Should I stop the treatment, or is it okay to continue the diet and give the supplements? All right, good question. So blessings to you and your child, your son. How wonderful that he came to you and you are interested in GAPS. We've seen all of this clear, folks. I know it sounds dire and I know it is hard, but we have seen children come to balance with all of these conditions, these symptoms. All this is, folks, is 2 things, maybe 3. 1, toxic. The child is toxic. All autistic children are toxic. Dr. Natasha says that herself. Okay, so they're toxic, and their detox system is broken or overloaded at least. So let's really work the detox for this child and everyone else, folks. Again, look at the 5 detox baths. Again, every child that is, I think Dr. Natasha says this, but I definitely say it. If you've got an autistic child, daily enemas for sure, whether or not they are constipated. If your child did not go to the bathroom today, an enema is needed. So get jiggy with enemas, go to the blue book, read the chapter on bowel management, go to the yellow book and read the chapter specific to children. So must detoxify, number 1. Must. That's straight from Dr. Natasha. Must detoxify. Must support the organs of detoxification every single day. That has to happen. Number 2, got to get that gut healed and sealed so that the river of toxins from the gut is no longer flying to the brain. Okay? Meat stock, meat stock, meat stock. How much meat stock for a child that's 3? I don't know, 2 to 3 cups a day. Gelatinous meat stock. Don't start there because he could have very, very strong detox die-off reaction. So, number 1, must detoxify. Must. The more detoxing you do, the faster your child will heal. 2, must have meat stock and lots of it. It's got to be gelatinous and it's got to be a minimum of 2 cups a day. Minimum. Don't start there. Work your way up to it. That's the second piece. Number 3, malnutrition. The child is malnourished. Has nothing to do with you. You're doing your best. But when we have children that are nonverbal and have all these things going on, first of all the microbes are eating all the nutrients, so he doesn't get any. Second of all, if he has a leaky gut, all the nutrients are not being broken down, and therefore they can't be absorbed or used. So really, I would be doing a lot of, when you can, egg yolks and other nutrient-dense foods. Liver. Did I say liver? The big L. Do it this way. Liver, egg yolks, meat stock. Lots of fermented foods and cultured dairy. So, up to you, Cecilia. I would, if I had a child like that, if I had a child at 3.5, that's what I meant, you can do one of 2 things. You can either start gradually on the full GAPS diet, no nuts, no seeds, no fruit, and start really bringing in these other healing foods with detoxification helping. Or you can bite the bullet and prep everything ahead of time and go through intro with your child. That would be very strong. And Could be very strong. Given what you're telling me, it sounds like it could be very strong. So regardless, start somewhere. Start somewhere. Start somewhere. And yes, start somewhere. And you will be happy to see the changes for your child. In terms of all the supplements, the deal with Candida and E. coli, everyone, is that from Dr. Natasha, is that they're just microbes that are currently out of balance, and attacking them is not really the best strategy, because the minute you stop attacking them, they're just growing back. So you may want to, or I'll say it differently. Our preferred way in the GAPS diet is to increase the amount of good bacteria, the amount of good yeast, right? Bacteria and yeast through food. Increase that so that the microbial community can come to balance. Okay? I hope that's helpful. All right, let's see. La 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 la. Did that. We are looking. All right, Uma. Hello, Uma. Uma says, hello, Mutsa. Hope that's right. Who else do we have down there? I think everybody. Hey, Sarvajit is here. All right, Fatima Wah. Correct, Sandy. Yep, it has lots. The sea salt, if it's good, will have a lot of minerals in it. All right. Andy, I'm not sure that it's a good idea to mix them. She's mixing Epsom plus pink Himalayan plus baking soda plus borax. Yeah. I personally wouldn't do that. I would go back and look at my detox baths, the 5 detox baths, YouTube. They all have different things, and by putting them all together, who knows what your body's getting. That's just me, what I think. All right. Yeah, borax, very interesting. Okay, which vitamin C is good for the GAPS patient? Which vitamin C? Sauerkraut. Sauerkraut has more vitamin C than anything you can take. All right. All right. Hello, Vicky. Vicky came on just at the end. Good to have Vicky here. All right. Any advice on a good, trustworthy source of kefir grains? So I'm going to say Cultures for Health. I'm happy if Sandy King is on still. If you would reply, just write a good source of trustworthy source of kefir grains. Sandy is one of my top students, and in terms of her knowledge of cultured dairy, raw cultured dairy. So Sandy, if you have a moment to put what you think is a good place to find kefir grains. Lena, I would also look to your local chapter leader to see if anyone in the Weston Price chapter near you has grains for you, because people are making kefir all the time and they are multiplying. So there you go. That's right. Sandy says, get them for a friend who's successful at making kefir. Excelente. All right, let me get up here. All right, let's see what else. La 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 la. Gilda says, my child is severely constipated. What is a great GAPS way to get her bowels moving? Enemas. Please, everybody, get your enemas going. Go buy an enema kit. Read up on it, and start getting jiggy with enemas for all your children. That is the best way to get her bowels moving, and anyone else's. Thinking. We remember that constipation is a result of one of 2 things, and maybe both. 1, liver congestion. That means support the liver. That means beet kvass, beets, a little bit of beet in juice, steamed beets, cooked beets, served with lots of butter. Beets, lemon in water. Those are wonderful things for the liver. Certainly GAPS milkshakes are wonderful for decongesting the liver. So one of 2 things. I said, 1, constipation is because of a congested liver. Dr. Natasha says this over and over again when she teaches, etc. Number 2, constipation is because your child has a imbalanced microbiome. You need to get that gut flora going. I'm so happy you started the JIA Blueprint. Excellent. And I'm glad you love my books. Thank you, Gilda. So that's what you do. Support the liver and do enemas. And do them with full heart. And tell your child this is going to help. And practice on yourself first before you try to give one to a child. Okay? All right. Mutsa says, on GAPS stage 3, going into 4, 9 months on GAPS, our child still screams a lot, hyperactive. So the first thing I would do, again, you're not my client, but if I were, I would work with a certified GAPS practitioner even once. I would take all of the fruit and nuts out immediately, and I would go back to stage 2, and I would sit there for 6 months. And I would do a lot of fat, animal fat, tallow, lard, etc. Yeah, and lots of good salt, fat and salt. I did some videos on those also. Please take a look, okay? I hope that's helpful. All right. Going down. All right, folks, we are done, but let's see. How many spoons of sauerkraut to have daily dose of vitamin C? For an adult, 1/4 to 1/2 cup a day. For a child, 1/4 cup a day. You're welcome, Mutsa. How do GAPS shakes work to cleanse the liver? GAPS shakes work to decongest the liver because there may be bile that is stuck in there, that's sludgy and stuck because you're not eating enough fat or you haven't for years. And so GAPS shakes help to get the bile moving, and that's how the liver decongests. Hope that's helpful. All right. Someone told me yesterday that she read you should not use raw milk for kefir. No, absolutely you can use raw milk for kefir. I don't know where they read it. All right. All right, let's see. My kids have reached a stage where they no longer are taking meat stock. They just can't take it anymore. How can I make them take it? So the question is, how old are these children, number one? And how are you making meat stock? So I want to let everyone know that I am going to be publishing offering a meat stock masterclass, which has 8 different lessons in it about how to make meat stock different ways, how to get meat stock in soups, stews, casseroles, all sorts of things. It depends on how old they are, right? If people don't want to drink meat stock, then make the stock and then blend vegetables into it, right? Use it as the base for blended vegetable soups. Make an orange soup made out of carrots. Make a red soup made out of beets. Make a green soup made out of greens. Make a white soup made out of cauliflower. Blend it in. Use it everywhere. And add lots of good fat. I hope that's helpful. All right. Yes. Let's see. This is the last thing. Last question from Dill. Deal, regarding improving fat digestion. The Blue Book talks about taking betaine with pepsin, ox bile, and digestive bitters. Should I take all of them or one? Improving fat digestion is usually ox bile. Yeah, it's usually ox bile. Ox bile, and then move from there. Betaine HCl is, I would do the baking soda burp test and the apple cider vinegar test, which are posted on our group under featured posts before I added hydrochloric acid, betaine with pepsin. And always digestive bitters are good for people. So you can try some bitters. They're great. They're really good for everybody's digestion. Victorious Valerie says, I have made a cauliflower gravy for meat stock and it is delicious. Go Victorious Valerie. Thank you. All right, everyone. We're at time. We went a little over today, but it was sure wonderful to be with all of you. I wish you a wonderful week. I wish you, if you're celebrating Hanukkah, I wish you a light-filled Hanukkah. If you're celebrating Christmas, I wish you a blessed and holy Christmas. If you're celebrating Kwanzaa or anything else coming up, blessings to you, whatever those beautiful celebrations of light and goodness are. Certainly happy winter solstice, which is tomorrow for those of us in the Northern Hemisphere. Welcoming the light. Let us welcome the light. Thank you, Carol. Happy holidays to you. Happy holidays, blessings, and I will see you all on Tuesday. Same GAPS time, same GAPS channel. All right. Bye-bye, all. Be well. Bye now.